Hello, you beautiful soul. Actually, I took that from someone else. I heard someone else say that. It's a catchy thing. I smoked that apple fritter and now I have questions. So now we're going to talk about the questions that I have. And I ask the highest God out there to guide my words and all that I am saying right now. Vape cartridge. This one's called Blue Widow. I just get out of the shower, getting ready to go on my birthday adventure. Heading down to the best beach in the state of Maine, Old Orchard Beach. That is my favorite beach. I love that area. They've got the best French fries outside. They've got a amusement park, a Ferris wheel. It's a great place. The pier is awesome. It's renting a little cabin about a mile, half mile from the beach. We're early risers. The Blue Widow and myself. I live with a widow. She's a widow of 4 years, and childhood sweetheart situation there. She got divorced, has 2 children, and they found each other later in life, and we were married 3 years. And fortunately, he passed away. He was former military, had an accident in the military, and unfortunately, he didn't make it out of his 40s. So she's educated, highly educated. I think she has 5 degrees, 2 master's degrees, one in nursing education and one in business. Just got her master's in business, so she's very smart. I'm attracted to intellectuals. And she's covered in tattoos. Okay. Look at me. I mean, I'm covered in tattoos too, so we're different, but we can blend in, but we keep our distance. We're early risers. Like, we're gonna get up at 5. And we'll walk on the beach, and I'll probably take a video of the beach because I enjoy doing this. I enjoy making videos. It's my own mirror psychology for myself. That's the reason I started this, was the mirror psychology. And mental health is the #1 cause of disability in the world, according to the World Health Organization. That seems to be the dominant medical community in this world. So if they say that mental health, and I need to be stronger than the average person, and I've had to learn how to do that and prove to myself that the cannabinoid system is real, and it's inside you, and it's the main biological system of the body that brings your body back to homeostasis, and I'm living proof of that. I've been on cannabis now for 15 years exclusively, not on pharmaceuticals. I take no pharmaceuticals and I take no supplements. I've taken no pharmaceutical prescriptions for, well, my doctor retired, put it that way. My doctor retired, and I haven't been in with another doctor. My doctor is an old school Jewish doctor, Dr. Kerry Riker. Good guy, good man, good doctor. So he was one of the top doctors in Bangor, Maine before he retired. As a pharmaceutical rep, he had my respect, just based on the sheer volume of prescriptions that this man wrote. There's 2 ways of looking at it. You can look at doctors of being, for me, as a pharmaceutical rep, he was a whale. And the whales are the ones that write the biggest amount of volumes. Because my job as a pharmaceutical rep was to get in front of these doctors and convince them to use my company's products over the current ones that they're using. And so my job meant that I had to find where my drugs fit. And I picked pharmaceutical companies that had the best in the class, because I wouldn't sell shit products. I was recruited by a lot of subpar pharmaceutical companies that don't exist anymore to promote their one-trick pony, because I was a good sales rep, and they offered me $20,000 more a year, and I said, no, not worth it. I could have progressed into the hospitals, to the medical device. I had friends that are robotics in with Da Vinci, the main robotics at Northern Lights, who's one of my colleagues at Forest Pharmaceuticals. His wife is actually a Medtronic rep. I used to be. I have a spinal cord stimulator, so she was the representative for that at Northeast Neurosurgery. When you're in pharmaceuticals, it's a tight-knit community, because you're not looked at as a professional, as a healthcare professional. You're looked at as pharmaceuticals, but what the healthcare administrative employees don't understand is medicine is pharmaceuticals. There's no such thing as medicine for a healthcare facility. They don't use holistic drugs. They only use drugs that they've been taught on. They use drugs that have been approved by the FDA. If their drug has not been approved by the FDA, they don't write prescriptions for it. It's a big club. And if you're not part of it, meaning you're not a physician, physician can be a doctor of osteopathic medicine. Maine has the highest concentration of osteopathic physicians in the country. We actually have our own osteopathic medical school, UNE in Biddeford. That's where we got our French bulldog, the Biddeford bitch we call her, Pee-Pee, Penelope. I've never had a French bulldog. She's awesome. I met a dog that, and her dad's name is Tank and her mom's name is Star. So she's perfect. I enjoyed being a pharmaceutical sales rep. I was good at my job. Once I realized, once you get over the initial, you're speaking to someone who's got more education than you and more experience than you, and you just don't want to look like a fool. Once you get over that, I'll call it a Rocky Balboa moment, where, he was scared that he was going to lose. And once you're scared and you let fear creep in, it's done. Any athlete will tell you that. Anyone will. That once you become scared, it's time for you to walk away from the game. So once I learned that these doctors, I could challenge them, I could challenge their intellectual levels, and be confident in what I was saying and back it up with statistics and clinical journals through either the New England Journal of Medicine or the Journal of American Medicine, are the two that my companies used exclusively. See, my company liked to use the top medical communities, JAMA, the prestigious ones. Credibility. Your name is everything in pharmaceuticals. Forest Pharmaceuticals was more of a marketing company. They acquired Celexa from a Danish company called Ludenbeck. And Ludenbeck actually was the creators of Lexapro. And Lexapro was the first time that I realized that science was exactly what you see. A lot of guessing, a lot of let's throw shit against the wall and see if it sticks. Well, in this case, Celexa is an enantiomer, E-E-N, enantiomer. So picture your hand and put your hand up to the mirror. And you put your hand up to the mirror and you can touch it and it looks like your hand, but your reflection is actually the opposite, going back. That's an enantiomer science. And that is the difference between Celexa and Lexapro. It's marketed by Takeda Pharmaceuticals, by Forest Pharmaceuticals. I don't think Forest exists anymore, to be honest with you. I think they sold to some other company. But we used to go to call on psychiatry and call on family practice, and I would have the UPS guy would show up at my house and drop off 20 cases of Lexapro, big boxes, 20 of them. His whole truck was full. And ironically, I went to high school with a kid and played baseball with a kid, so, it was like, he's like, what do you order? And I'm like, to drugs. The first time I say that, they're like, what? I'm like, pharmaceuticals. I'm a pharmaceutical sales rep, so my territory is Bangor, Maine. I go 4 hours north to Madawaska. I go 2 hours east to Calais and Eastport. I go an hour and a half south to Augusta, an hour, Gardner on the other side. And then I go over to Farmington, Rumford, that area, up through Dover, up through Milo, Greenville, Millinocket. That's real Maine. That's the Maine that you want to experience, because that's where you're driving on Route 11 and you see no houses, you see trees, and you probably will see a moose. You see a lot of pulp trucks and a lot of dirt roads. I love this area. That's where I grew up. My grandparents grew up in, they owned an antique store in Lincoln, Maine. My grandfather worked at the paper mill in Lincoln, Maine after he would get out of the Navy. He was in the Navy for 4 years, and he was discharged from the Navy and moved back to Lincoln and got married and had 2 kids, bought an antique store. His wife Geneva, his name's Howard Pinkham, and his wife Geneva, she ran the antique store, used to go yard sailing and find stuff at yard sale for a penny and then sell it in the antique store for a massive profit. So that's where I learned business, was from her, was seeing the stuff that she could buy for $1 and then flip it. Capitalism. I learned a lot about energy from the antique store, and antiques hold energy. And I spent a lot of time in my childhood, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, 11 years old, in the basement of an antique store at night. You want to see if you're spiritual and see how much empathic abilities that you have. Go into an antique store at night, sit there. Just sit there and just listen. You're bound to hear something. That's when I learned that the spirit world was real, and things that you can't see are real. And then I watched a show on TV where the Haunted Collector, where he went to antique places and talked about exactly what I was experiencing as a child. Haunted Collector.